A study shows that 40% of long-distance relationships eventually come to an end. 40%. So how do the remaining 60% make it work? I think they invest in the relationship every day. Many people, they ask, "Sir, can you tell me if she's suitable for me? Will I be happy with her?" But then my question, I would just turn around and ask, why don't you ask her whether she'll be happy with you or not? Right? We often try to blame other person for our happiness. But we have never thought that my behavior, my thoughts, my habits, my way of life. Suppose I meet another person with exactly same habits the way I have. Would you marry that person? Because you know how dirty you are, how filthy you are. And if you find somebody like you, you're going to run away. If you happen to know that he's exactly like me, then you'll say, "Oh my God, I can't handle myself and there is another idiot who has come in my life." So, of course, there is no doubt that there are soulmates, right soulmates. See, if you understand this idea of creation, and when we think of Atman, Babuji Maharaj mentions in Towards Infinity that when we were all separated from the source, earlier it was the Adi Shakti that was prevailing before the creation, right? After the creation began, the flow of current started to descend. The main current became part of the human mind, right? What is this current? Current is not because of one type of charge. Current has to have positive and negative. Now imagine, will the positive go straight and negative will go straight? It cannot. It has to, like a DNA structure, it has to cross each other. Same thing happens with electric current, they cross each other, positive and negative. Now imagine Purusha moving this way, Prakriti moving this way, right? Now imagine you are on one of the helical structure, one of the dots, one of the Atman. Many dots makes these lines. Imagine you are one of the dot. The one which is in the beginning and one that is coming after 10 foot away in that flow of energy versus the one which is exactly opposite you. You are Prakriti, another exactly opposite to you is Purusha. They will have the matching vibratory level. But the one who is here and one who is so far, far away, they will never have a matching vibratory level and they can never become soulmates. But it's very difficult to identify that, how to identify my parallel resonance. It's impossible. And often we say, "Oh, मेरे जैसा ही उसका ख्याल है, मेरे जैसे ही बातें करता है." वो बेवकूफ़ बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा है शुरू में, बाद में कुछ गाड़ी उल्टी ही चलेगी. He's trying to impress that I am thinking like you, I am resonating with you. But बाद में असली कलर बाद में पता चलता है ऐसे. And I have not found any exception to this rule because everybody is trying to impress the other person in the beginning, and which is a sad thing actually. Don't try to impress. Be natural with each other, especially when you are trying to establish a relationship and trying to establish a family where you're going to live your life for another 60, 70, 80 years together. So choose your partner wisely, not because he or she is very rich or she is very educated. No, person who love each other. And other person who loves you more, marry that person. No matter how much the two partners love each other, they are and will remain two separate individuals. Nurturing any relationship requires effort. We think of a relationship as give and take. There must be give and take, no just taking. What does it mean to give? One way is to take an interest in the things you love. Suppose you don't like the music that your partner likes. It's okay, enjoy it with them anyway. It will make them feel happy if you did it. Or perhaps that person does things that annoy you. Maybe they snore like crazy all night and you want to put them in the doghouse. God forbid, if the day comes that they are no more, then you will miss that snoring so much. What do these small efforts require? Just a little generosity of heart. In a long-distance relationship, misunderstandings can easily arise and disagreements are also more difficult to resolve. To stabilize things, you'll have to be generous and trust each other. Don't expect the same generosity back from them, or you will each be waiting for the other to make the first move at forgiveness and understanding. It will be a game of cat and mouse. A study shows that 40% of long-distance relationships eventually come to an end. 40%. So how do the remaining 60% make it work? I think they invest in the relationship every day. While investing in the relationship, it is important not to demand reciprocation and say, I love that I have done so much for you. What have you done for me? Then you will only argue over who has invested more. The only competition should be in outdoing the other person in love. With this attitude, you cannot lose. I am reminded of a small couplet of Amir Khusro. Says, all night I gamble with my beloved. If I win, he is mine. If I lose, I am his. This attitude is ideal. Original wordings are like this. Khusro Baji, Prem ki, मैं खेली पी के संग, जीती तो पिया मेरे, हारी तो पी के संग. How do we keep the fragrance of this relationship intact? Well, when this fragrance is already there, it will reach out distances. You don't have to really worry when this love-filled fragrance is there. Distances truly don't matter then, see. Problem comes when you're not very sure about your love. Understanding what your partner is going through is very important. And at times, we find we must forget ourselves and cultivate understanding and compassion for the other. Make time to connect from heart. Keeping time aside to connect at a deeper level and doing the things that make you both happy is a must for a long distance relationship. Now, what can you do together while you are too far apart from each other? The physical presence may be missing in a long distance relationship, but you can do things together. You can exercise or meditate at the same time. You can listen to music at the same time. Make your own painting and compare. You can close your eyes and send your love to that person, and they'll benefit from such acts. When you realize that distance has no meaning, then none of this will bother you at all. Not just distances, but later on, even the dimensions won't matter. When one partner is not nearby, sometimes there can be resentment or even hostility. Meditation helps. It helps us tremendously managing our emotions, help us resolve our conflicts. Even before such conflicts surface, provided you truly want the matters to be resolved. If you have really decided to end the relationship, no one can help. Father's influence will be useless. Mother's influence will be useless. It is your resolve that matters. Do you want your relationship to work? If yes, then it will happen. If you are dilly-dallying, then distance will prove in your favor of ending it. There are so many examples where partners across oceans felt a stir of something about their loved one. They call to find out that indeed their partner was experiencing an emotional low. When the relationship deepens and evolves based on such nourishing qualities, there is no need for any relationship saving tricks or interventions of any sort. No one questions the relationship or the love behind it. Let's put all this together and come up with a map of how to nurture a beautiful long-distance relationship. Number one thing to remember is make sure you set up a time every day to connect. At that time, no TV, no distracting social media in the background. A time only for two of you. It helps both of you share a private and intimate space. Number two, be transparent in your relationship. Meaning, are you happy with your heart? Share your feelings. When we withhold ourselves from sharing our feelings, are we actually able to hide them? No. These feelings find a different channel to reveal themselves and are never truly hidden. One day, they'll be out in the open. Silence is beautiful, but only when the emotion behind it is beautiful. When silence is filled with negativity, it is worse than shouting at one another. When we have a transparent and open relationship, we do not allow this bottling up of emotion to happen. Number three, save your anger. Resist expressing your irritability. If you are angry, don't react immediately. Buy time. Save your anger for later. In the intervening time, you may come to a new understanding that the other person and your anger will be transformed. When you try to search for a negative emotion in yourself, it is nowhere to be found later. Your awareness is like shining a light in darkness. Number four, it is good to minimize our expectations as there is already the challenge of being apart. Remember to be kind and forgiving of yourself and your partner when expectations are not met. In my experience, a practice like meditation strongly supports the blossoming of a relationship. When we meditate, we first connect within ourselves. Then we can interact, communicate, and understand the other person from a space of that clear thinking, honesty, and maturity. If the couple can meditate together, even better. Please try it. There is nothing to lose. And it will certainly improve the quality of your relationship. Make this act of meditation a simple game. Heartfulness meditation promotes the flowering of love in couples. In heartfulness, we also have a practice of cleaning in which the individual's work of letting go of all the heaviness in them, all the negativity, complexities, impurities. This cleaning adds wind to your sails of mutual boats sailing through this ocean of life. Meditation only adds strength and beauty to this relationship, even if it is across the oceans. In conclusion, long-distance relationships might seem difficult to maintain, but with a generous and loving heart, you can endure all problems along the way and make it truly work.